Welcome to Inside the Challenge. Today I have Darren Polanski. Darren is one of the co-principals of Bold Workshop Architecture in Calgary. So,
Hi.
Darren is going to talk to us today about dwelling for a person with special needs and accessibility and what it looks like to design for that.
Great.
Darren,
Okay.
floor is yours.
Thank
The computer screen is yours.
Computer screen is mine. Great. Thanks, Jonathan. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm just going to share my screen here real
Yeah.
quick. This is a project. Oh, actually, let me just find the right share button. For some reason, here we go. Challenges of working on a laptop here.
Yep. I
Yeah.
know that world.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Great.
Uh, so this is a house we call Button House because it's located on Button Road in Calgary, Alberta. And so the client is an experienced builder and developer. They had built a previous home for their family, which after moving in, it wasn't designed by an architect. After moving in, they realized they could have done a better job by hiring an expert. So they came to us. And the client is a family of six. Quite a large family. So, two parents, four daughters, between the ages of 4 and 8.
Okay.
One of those daughters is has special needs and is wheelchair bound. And so they came to us with a challenge of trying to design or to design a house that has her accessibility in mind, in addition to designing something that is architecturally interesting and is also challenging and interesting to the client who's the builder. And so, um, with that being said, a family of six in and of itself requires, pretty much a good footprint, a good size house. And in addition to that, one of their daughters being in a wheelchair and having special needs, there's additional program requirements to a house like this. So trying to fit it in was challenge number one. And so the image we see on the screen here, as it's under construction right now, I'll show some framing photos. Um, it, this second floor here is devoted entirely to the four daughters. The upper floor is dedicated to the parents, and then we have a main floor that's dedicated to more public space, and then a lower floor that has some supportive programming. Now, one of the things you'll see in the front is we have this large landscape feature, this element here,
Yeah.
and it was
Architecture block.
important. Yeah, yeah. The site was relatively flat, but it's the sidewalk at the front was lower by about a meter or so than the back of the house, and
Yeah.
so to make the exterior part of the interior in a design sensibility, we had to really kind of make the whole site continuous. And so the family wants to leave and come and go together. And so if they're coming in, going out of the front door, we want there to be an experience there as well. Um,
Yeah.
just
So
gonna
I
shift.
saw you created that ramp as a part of that landscape.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it's a ramp that's integrated into a planter, part of a landscape element here.
Yeah.
Um, the whole main floor through the breezeway into the garage is all one level, and then also to that, there's this courtyard space that has a zero threshold to it. And in the landscape, there will be kind of a meandering path. So this entire site from sidewalk to alley is accessible. So that was a challenge. And I think we accommodated it pretty well. Um, you'll notice that there's this landscape area here, and so that courtyard is actually a below. Well, it's a suspended slab, a concrete slab. Below that, there is actually a basement area.
Hmm.
And if we look at the plans, the other things that come along with someone in a wheelchair is obviously like an elevator.
Yep.
And although it's not really that technically challenging to program for, um, finding the right spot in plan took some time. Just to make sure, it didn't disrupt the circulation. It was part of the volumetric space. And really, one of the things that we did pay attention to is, where do the elevator doors open up to?
Hmm.
Um, you know, one of the requirements was the child needed to have access to every single room in the house. So everything was barrier free in that regard. So clearances were considered. But where the doors of the elevator opened up, they changed. They basically they have two different openings, one in the front or two in the we'll call it the south side, page south side, for the basement and the main room where it opens up into the study and a shared space for the daughter. And then on the page north side, it opens up into her bedroom and the parents' bedroom. So um, that was just something to consider when we were replacing the elevator as well. Is where does it open up onto? How do they engage with the space once they open up the doors?
And it's a thoughtful as I look at the primary bedroom there that you have there's a privacy wall in front of it, right? Something small but meaningful. So if she was coming up, you have at least, some level of privacy.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Like that opens up into like a little kind of a dressing area, dressing nook.
Yeah.
On the third floor, it opens up directly into her bedroom, and then yeah, into the study. And one of the other things too to consider that we were thinking about that was a requirement of the client was, along with the elevator, the spatial requirements that you see, in the washroom and everything. There's other things like, having a therapeutic room, getting into the detail of like, well, where do you store the equipment for this child? Because there'll be kind of multiple spaces throughout the house for different assistive devices. There'll be medication drawers and cabinets. Um, and one of the things that we did do was in her bedroom, in the child's bedroom. I'm just going to pull open. We have a just kind of a 3D view of the bedroom. Is we went into the millwork detail. So this is the child's bedroom here, and she has a from time to time she has a caretaker, and from time to time they'll stay overnight. And so we thought, okay, well, wouldn't it be great if we embedded a convertible piece of millwork where if she needed to stay overnight, the mill could be converted into like a bed. So if she needed to stay overnight, a desk for her to do, her work. So
Mhm.
really kind of thinking about the needs just beyond code and typical requirements for an accessible person.
Mhm.
Um, and then, if we look at, um, I'm just going to go back
Can I
to,
ask a question on the plans you have here?
sure.
The gray circled areas, are those to be able to determine the radius?
Yep.
Radius?
Yeah, those would be your turning radius circles. So um, uh, we made certain that where they were needed, you typically see them in the washrooms and around the bed areas,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
most people are familiar. So there's three of the six washrooms are designed around that. So
Hmm.
she can be on any level except for the master level and have access to a washroom.
Got it.
Yeah. Um, and then well, also, during the programming of this too, I think I mentioned this before, like, um, the child really wanted to be able to access one of their parents at all times. That was important to the parent, and so you'll notice that this is a therapeutic room for the child, and
Hmm.
um, the mother um, she does a lot of work from home stuff. And so we have a study in proximity to that. We've designed the kitchen so that instead of having a typical kitchen table, the kitchen island becomes part of the table. So the child can really freewheel from, being with her parent through her therapy room. She can wheel up to a lower, kitchen table surface, and then freewheel throughout the landscape. So it's really providing her with maximum opportunity to kind of to have an interesting environment, not just
Yeah.
like, oh
Engage with it.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
It's really
exactly.
nice.
Where we're at right now in terms of construction for this is the image that I showed uh, first. That was you'll notice there's these vaulted um, ceilings here. So
Mhm.
one of the challenges with kind of building this up to the third floor, we did kind of have to get a slight relaxation for the height. That was for an older building code. It was just transitioning into, sorry, bylaw. It was just transitioning into a new bylaw here in Calgary. So um, what we wanted to do is just kind of be sensitive to the neighbors. And so the south is actually to page left, north is this way. And so through the program, we were, making sure that we weren't overshadowing the neighbors. And so, you know, partnering the client's request for doing something innovative and challenging, along with let's kind of soften the form of the building so it's not such a stepped wedding cake gesture. Like let's do some vaulted arches. And so we have this main breezeway space that goes all the way through to the back, and then this upper space here in which has basically a vaulted ceiling on the interior. Those were kind of important space. They functioned as like wayfinding and important design spaces on the inside as well, not just like interior gestures. So we actually have what we call an epic wall of millwork that runs fully from front to back, um,
Yeah.
down that breezeway space. And so that performs a variety of things, like it's mudroom at the back
Yeah.
becomes pantry, becomes kitchen,
Yeah.
becomes beverage, becomes entranceway,
Yeah.
kind of supporting the programming of the space. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll just show you kind of where we are. These are some photos taken just right before Christmas, I believe. There's a bit of a pause in the construction just due to we had a cold snap here. And so just now that framing is resumed, I think we're up on the second floor. But where we're at right now is, if I can, so this is a view just standing in that breezeway space looking
Front
towards
entry.
the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, front entry. Like you're standing kind of the kitchen is to the
Yeah.
left,
And to your
front
right
entry.
is all that millwork you just referenced.
Exactly, exactly. And so there'll be the vaults coming all the way across here.
Mhm.
And then we have, this is just a little quick video here. Maybe I'll just kind of pause through this here. This is just as if you're standing in that breezeway with your
The
back to the
garage.
garage. And so
Yeah.
right below this pile of snow is that suspended concrete slab,
Yep.
which is the courtyard. And then, as we look to the left, we have, this is a 9 foot opening here, so quite large, with a seamless transition into that courtyard space.
Mhm.
And then as we kind of, rotate this way, that's the view there. And so, yeah, we'd have the arches coming across here. So we have ample space. We made sure there was lots of space here. You can see there's enough for cabinetry and along the side 2 feet, and then ample space there for clearances. And so we really kind of thought about fluidity and making sure the space could be adventurous for a child in a wheelchair.
Yeah. It's great, Darren. It's really thoughtfh and the way you played with all these different shapes throughout the whole project is also it makes it fun. And you can just it's a completely different type of home than what you're gonna see. And I can understand what you're saying about the shadows and how, you know, that focus to not impact the neighbors in the same way.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
something a little bit more aggressive could have done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you had a typical kind of draftsman working with the builder, which they had before,
Yeah.
um, I think you would end up with something less remarkable, less, I think, custom. And I think we've been working with them for 2 years on this already, and we're just going through construction. So uh, over that time, we really getting into the details as we progress into the detailed millwork drawings. We have the opportunity to continuously, address, ideas to make not just the family's life better, but this particular child's life better.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Darren. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure.